My cat just joined us. This should be fun.
Welcome Crash's cat to
Our first guest
our first
on
guest,
the podcast.
Crash's cat.
This is Nemesis. Nemi, say hi.
Hello.
So,
Well,
how are you?
I got a vent, man. I
All
got a
right.
vent. Yeah.
We should do that then.
Well, let's introduce the podcast first. Welcome to Pshhh. My name is Kersey Barrett Tormey. You can find me at Me by Kersey.
And I'm Crash of Rapid Peach.
And we are crafting and chatting, y'all. And right now, so I'm about 2.5 weeks into restarting my small business, man.
Mm-hmm.
And this year I wanted to start it out right by freaking budgeting and like doing a really good job at budgeting.
Mm-hmm. Personally or for your business?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. See, even by you saying that, okay, I can hear you saying what I did wrong.
No, I didn't say anything.
No.
I don't see anything wrong. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. Because I went to Seattle for New Year's and I wanted to like do this kind of like, I'm going to do the new year right, and I'm going to do this year right by my business. Budgeting is really hard. I was in Seattle for the New Year's, and I would wake up at like before everyone else. The first thing I would do was just like start budgeting. I was writing out everything I needed to buy. I was writing out all of the expenses that I had to pay anyways, like every single bill, and creating like spreadsheets for every single month of the year. Shit comes up, man. Shit comes up. Because I started doing the art markets again. One, I did better than I thought I would, which great.
Yay.
You know,
especially with your cardboard box setup.
Exactly.
It was a question.
But like that's more materials that I have to buy. So more backers, more sleeves, and more inks to make prints, right? And then on top of that, like first couple of markets that I did, I need a new phone. Like the phone was not cutting it in terms of making payments. Like having to manually type in somebody's card information when other people are just passing by. Yeah, it takes a long time. So that was an extra expense. Buying walls and tents for my booth. Oh, so I'm writing down all of this in this spreadsheet, and I'm feeling very proud of myself until I get back to New Orleans when it's time to check out, and I forget to add shipping and taxes to my expenses.
Oh, yeah.
Which means I'm spending even more. And then on top of that, there's like the stuff that you buy that's just wrong, and you can't return it. Which is a whole nother expense.
Yeah, if you buy something and you think it's going to work, and then you open it and realize it's not going to work, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. I just don't, I don't understand how to budget. I don't understand how people do this. And I think it would be a lot easier if I knew when money was coming in. But because I don't have that anymore, and I'm just kind of like taking it day by day of like when I'm going to make money, it's like, how do you budget the unknown?
Yep. I'm in the same spot.
Right?
So that's super fun.
Yeah.
We can have a moment of we can have a little moment of the blind leading the blind on this one and hope we can figure it out.
Yeah.
But I get it. That's kind of what I'm going through right now too, is especially last year we had a very set idea of how much we were going to be making every 2 weeks. And then we lost that, and then we kind of just have to figure it out from there,
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's hard. It's definitely hard. And that's not
Yeah.
to mention like the things that just outside of that, the things that like you forget about, where you make an account for something and don't realize they're going to charge you for it later or something
Oh.
like that is like, you know, suddenly another 20 bucks is gone and you're like, wait a minute, how did that even
Mhm.
get, why is it gone?
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. I had like a mini freak out when I I wouldn't call it a freak out, but I did have a panic
Mm-hmm.
when I ran out of toothpaste, and I thought my first thought was, why didn't I budget for toothpaste?
Oh yeah.
It's like it goes. It's like a ice cream cone, you know, where it's like there's all this ice cream on the top, and it's like melting all the way into the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just trying to like cut off the tip and like suck out all the ice cream, but it's just like melting too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's kind of how I feel about budgeting right now. It's sticky.
Yeah, that definitely is that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Big time yes.
yeah.
Completely yes. um, so there's a lot of different things that you can use for budgeting, especially so there's like the forward approach and the backward approach, I guess. The forward approach, I'm using forward and backward like because I'm making those terms up. The
Okay.
forward approach being like you plan how much you want to spend at the beginning of the month and you follow that plan no matter what. And the other one is the backward approach, which is you wait until like you kind of track as you go, and at the end of the month, that's when you go, okay, here's what my budget turned out to be, and kind of use that to inform your next month. Especially like so that's what I'm using right now is that backward one because I have a lot of unexpected expenses and I don't know how much money I'm going to be making all the time. So for me, setting a budget at the beginning of the month is really difficult because
Mhm.
it's very easy for me to say, oh, I'm going to spend $500 on groceries this month. But what if I decide to have friends over 2 days more often than I would normally, and then I end up spending another 50 bucks or something like that,
Mhm.
you know? Um, Whereas for me, luckily for me, I have a little bit of a safety net. So it's easier for me to wait until the end of the month, see how I did, and use that for the next month. Um, eh, but that
You
leaves
made this
a
all
lot
up
more
right
space
now?
for, well, that's what I'm doing right now. I made up the forward and backward terms, but like that's what I have, what I'm finding myself doing right now, which is very opposite from what I was doing when I had stable, reliable, dependable income, predictable income, I should say.
Mhm.
Which was I know I'm going to make this much this month. Here's how much I want to spend on all these different things. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as you of gotta figure it out as we go and see what it all means. Hope
Mhm.
for the best.
Mhm. Rocky
Yeah,
boat.
it's hard. It's not fun to live like
It's
that.
it's funny is that I was trying to like trick myself into it being fun,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of creating a game.
Oh yeah.
What I didn't expect, because I felt like I was doing so good at the game, and this might be a little bit of my ego coming out into it, but
Mm-hmm.
I fucked up the game this month with like the plan. But what is it? God laughs at your plan? Yeah, he's cracking up. He is cracking up.
Mm,
Yeah.
it's just going so differently than you thought it would.
Yeah. Yeah. And also like the obvious things like the shipping and sales tax that should have been under my belt. Like I feel a little bit smarter than that I would forget something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also, you're right that sometimes you're just out and about and you want to have fun with your friends.
Right.
And yeah, you ended up spending $16 than you actually have, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah.
And that guilt, do you feel guilty?
It depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I find
Yeah.
if I feel guilty, I beat myself up over it, and then I don't spend money on things that I need to spend money on.
Right.
And so I try not to feel so guilty about it because, again, then I will just feel bad and I can choose not to eat the next day. And I don't want to do that to myself, you
Mm,
know? So,
no.
yeah, it's, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. But yeah, I this is a little bit of a vent too. Is
Mm-hmm.
doing art markets. There's one thing that I needed to buy for a very, very long time now, and that was a tent.
Mm-hmm.
You know those pop-up tents that you kind of see at parties sometimes?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You need those for art markets and, anytime you're vending a booth, like it's really important to have a tent.
Mm-hmm.
And I found one on Amazon. It was like $43. And I took it to my friend and she was like, "Do not buy that tent."
Oh no,
That will
why?
blow over in the wind so quickly. It won't last long at all. She was like, "If you want a good tent, you need to spend like up to $400." And I was just like,
Oh,
"Okay,
oh
spend more now
man.
so you don't spend more later. Whew,
Yeah.
I can do this. I can do this."
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. The fun part about it is that once I get all the spending done, then I can just focus on saving. Hopefully, I'm hoping. Fingers
Yes.
crossed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's initial cost, right? Especially for starting up your business again, is you're
Yeah.
gonna have a lot of initial cost and it's gonna hurt a lot at the beginning, but then after that, it's gonna equalize because you don't only have to buy the big pop-up tent once.
Right.
You don't need to buy it
Yeah.
again next month. You don't need to buy it
No.
again 6 months from now. Whatever. Like
I
you
don't
only
have
need
to
to buy
buy
it
it
the one
again for
time, and then
yeah.
ideally you're good to go.
Yeah. As opposed to buying the $43 one, which would
Yeah,
probably last
which
me
you're
about
going
six
to have
months.
to last several. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Whereas if I get this bigger one, it will last hopefully like at least 10 years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. 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 The the humor that I have for myself, which is the fact that I had a little bit of high horse of like I'm spreadsheeting now, and then
Mm.
it's just like falling apart into my hands, like trying to
Hey,
hold on to
you
grains
gotta
of sand. Uh,
you gotta learn. You gotta learn from it. You
I like
know,
the
you
idea.
figured out what works and figured out what doesn't.
What I want to do actually. So I did what was it, the forward budgeting? I tried that.
Yeah,
I don't think that's working. What I'm
right,
going to do is I'm going to do the backward budgeting, which you talked about,
right.
which is I'm going to add up all of my expenses for this month. Like the big ones, the little ones, the successful ones, the 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 ha 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 I got you ones.
And use those to inform next month's budget.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Backwards budgeting. That's that's all, folks.
Well, that's been your episode of Peachy. Thanks for listening. Yeah.
I love how softly you're talking too.
I'm sorry. I'm having a low day today. It's a
Low
low
day.
day. I think
Yeah.
I think my period's coming on soon and I'm just trying to be
Mm.
quiet. It's like a quiet day in the house, you know? So I'm just like, we're gonna have a chill cast.
You know what's kind of fun is that it calmed me down.
Well, good. I know you sounded
Yeah.
like when we first called to set up the podcast, you sounded a little bit amped, and I was like, I'm just gonna be extra chill and see how
It
that
is a little bit
goes.
of an amped time because it's carnival right now, and I'm
That's
painting Mardi
exciting.
Gras floats, and
How?
I joined a Mardi Gras crew.
So I have a question for you.
Go
real
for it.
quick. With you having planned your budget for the month at the end of last month, did you budget for Carnival?
No, it's not that I
That seems
forgot
like
about Carnival. I did not forget about Carnival. My brain was just like, oh, it won't cost that much. Of course it won't.
But also,
But
that's
then
the whole point of budgeting, is that no matter how much it costs, you put it on the budget.
I
Don't you
didn't think
think?
I would end up in a crew this year either. That was kind of a
Mm-hmm.
random thing that happened.
Can you
Um,
tell me what a crew is
so
for Mardi Gras?
that's a good question. What it is for Mardi Gras isn't just one day. It's like about a 2 month span of parades that are going through the city, just like
Mm-hmm.
all about the city and everywhere. And each parade has a theme.
Mm-hmm.
It has leaders to that parade, and then within that parade, they have crews that march with the parade, and it's kind of like a little inner club.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so a dear friend of mine works with my favorite parade of all time. It's called Crew of Bohem. It's a DIY ferry parade, and it's beautiful. All the floats are handmade, and it's really special because it's a walking parade.
Mm.
So instead of the glitz and glam of some of the bigger parades, it's a little bit more homey and very artsy. Dude,
Okay.
it's awesome. And I'm going to be working security for her crew, which is the crew of King James. So it's a little crew uh, in honor of James Brown.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is
And
working security going to entail for you?
it's gonna be
Because I'm just
it's
seeing you standing in front of a door with like a big leather jacket that's like 3 times too big for you, being like, oh no, man, you're not allowed in here. But I don't
that
think
would
that's
be
what it's
so
gonna
cool.
be.
Can you imagine how cool that would make me? No. Um, what it is I'm going to be kind of helping out and making sure nobody gets lost, making sure that
Mm,
there's enough room for the dancers to dance, making sure there's enough room for the floats to get by and people aren't standing in the way, that kind of thing.
okay, okay. That makes a lot more
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. It's pretty much I'm running around and de-escalating.
Triggering word. That'll be fun.
It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
you'll have a lot of fun
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
Good. And it's get you out of the house. I will tell you though, because you're going to be out of the house so much, you're going to be spending a lot of money on food, if
Isn't that,
nothing else,
yep.
on food.
I've been good about bringing food to my work. I've been very
That's,
good about bringing food to my work.
are you
I
going to
bring
be able to do
apples,
that like
bring
in
my
the
own
full swing of
water.
things?
I don't think I'll be able to do that when parading.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I got a budget for this parade. Yeah, I got a
Yeah,
budget for this parade.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes. I'll see how much I have to spend, and
Yeah,
then I'll
right.
only spend that.
Yeah.
And then if you spend under, that's kind of like winning the game, right?
That's 100% winning the game.
Yeah.
But
So if
keep
I'm
in
like,
mind when winning
oh,
the game, you also don't want to like win the game too hard because part of being alive is living well, you know? So you don't necessarily want to just not spend anything because then you didn't live your life that month,
mm,
you know? Because if you're like, oh, I was $200 under budget uh, on my electricity bill, it's like, okay, great, but did you not have heating that month? Or like, what happened? Like, that's not good.
This
You
is the
know?
one thing that I've been trying to practice, and this has been a practice for me, is I've
Mm-hmm.
never really enjoyed spending money. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
I
all
don't
right,
either.
man, I gotta
I
enjoy spending money this month.
Yeah, I can relate to that big time.
Yeah, yeah. I remember discovering thrifting as a kid before like
Mm-hmm.
it's popped off now and being
Mm-hmm.
like, hell yeah, man, I'm spending like no money. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, I'm like so upset because thrift stores are expensive now.
Thrift stores are so expensive. I went to
Mm-hmm.
my favorite thrift store, and I came out and I almost wanted to cry because it was just bags of people, you know, reselling essentially,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which is it's understandable as a form of, pulling in that extra cash because, what, you spent like a day thrifting and then you throw it up onto some shop, see if you
Mm-hmm.
can get your money back, double the price, triple the price, you know? But yeah, man,
I
it's
feel a
so
little attacked.
expensive
I'm
now.
literally going to start doing that, right? Like I have
Oh,
clothes
you
ready to
are?
do that with. Yeah. Because I need more income sources because I'm not making
What?
enough with my normal job. You're doing art markets. I'm starting a reselling store. Yeah. But that's fine. Ouch, but that's okay.
It's an understandable source of income, though. It's
Yeah.
totally, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Ouch.
You should not feel attacked at all, because
You
I get
literally
it.
just said how bad it was.
I get it.
Oh,
If I was good
crazy.
at it, maybe I would be good at it too. But I am not good at it. I'm just good at just showing up and spending as little money as possible.
Mm, I
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, to be fair, like my local thrift store, when I lived here before, I would regularly go to the thrift store and shirts would be like $2. Like
Yep.
every shirt, $2. Maybe three if it was like really nice or something. And like shoes, $1.50, pants, $2, easy stuff.
Mhm.
Now, the thrift store that I go to now, um, the lowest price for a shirt you're gonna get is $7.99. All dresses are $10.99. All shoes are $5.99. It's like this is expensive for a thrift store.
Mhm.
I mean, sometimes you do find gems. I just found like the best, like really thick wool, like Calvin Klein dress that makes me look like Wednesday Addams for $10. Like I'm super stoked.
Oh yeah.
But like sometimes it's just like a Shein jacket, and you're like, are you really asking $11.99 for this Shein jacket? You know that's more than the person bought it for. Like, really?
Can I tell you the real thing that's killing thrifting? It's not the
Mm,
resellers. It's these mass producing,
yeah,
huge,
yeah.
fast fashion industries that make
100%. Because the
things.
first thing that people do when they're making their closets smaller is donate all the fast fashion junk, and then you go
Mhm.
to the thrift store and all it is fast fashion junk. It sucks.
It sucks, and it's all
Mm-hmm.
way too expensive for fast fashion junk. It's
Yeah,
almost like a tent that costs $43 that you think will last a lifetime.
exactly. When you know it's not going to.
When you know it's not going to.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
That will help with budgeting, though. Multiple sources of income. Not necessarily
yeah.
budgeting how much you're going to make, but definitely budgeting with how much you can spend every month and what you can afford to do every month.
I think
Um,
that after our last experience from last year with being laid off, it's really important to have multiple eggs in multiple baskets.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it's at all possible, because you
Definitely
never know what's
trying.
going to happen.
Yeah, right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, and this
It's
is to
what's going
say
to
with
help.
all of the things that we've said in past episodes, which is remember when to take breaks, treat your month of productivity, like your flow,
Mm-hmm.
um, backwards budgeting, which is now my new favorite thing.
All right.
And then also like remembering to find um, certain aspects that you can have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Where,
Mm-hmm.
so like how I've been trying to treat my budgeting like a game. Um, it's there is a winning and losing aspect of it, which is like paying under is winning.
Yeah.
But I kind of like what you said because you're not setting yourself up to like if you're planning on paying under, you're kind of setting yourself up to fail
Yeah.
because
It's like
there
you
is
did
just so
set the
many.
amount for a reason. If you decide that you want to spend $12 at coffee shops over the month, you should spend all $12 so that you know you enjoyed your coffee over the month. Like if that's something that you really prioritize enough to put it into your budget, spend the money you decided to put onto
Spend
your
the money.
budget.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But there should also be like a special like surprise budget too. Like when you run out of toothpaste and you weren't thinking about toothpaste.
Yes. Yeah. Put
Um,
an extra $25 aside for oops, I forgot.
yeah, or like you lose your scissors somehow in your house and you're
Oh,
like, I don't
yes.
understand.
Sorry,
Was
that
that
was really
relatable?
relatable. That was so
That
relatable
was
to me right
relatable.
now. I'm sorry. Did I have a very strong reaction to that in my whispered tones? Oh man, sorry. That was like flashback to the war level of relatable for me.
You can't not have scissors in your house. There is a pair of scissors in every household in America. Making it fun is um, within reason enjoying spending your money
Mm,
and knowing that you're spending it and how you enjoy spending it is you spend it on products that you will know will last a long time.
right. Yeah.
Um, and you talk to friends about what tent to get so that you're not buying a tent that's going to last you 6 months, if that.
Facts.
Yeah.
Big
You
facts.
um, you buy the things that will also bring you joy too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I bought the one that probably brought me the most joy is when I was in Seattle, we
Mm-hmm.
went thrifting and I found a ski suit that fits me perfectly that I can take for the night markets when it gets under 50 degrees and wear it
Mm-hmm.
for 6 hours in the cold and
And
I'll
be
be
comfy.
fine.
Yeah.
I'll be cozy.
At
Yeah,
first, I
man.
was gonna be like, "Why do you need a ski suit?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense
Yeah.
then."
Why do you need a ski suit in New
I'm like,
Orleans?
"You do live in New Orleans, like." Fair enough, though.
Little
Fair
did you
enough.
know, I need a ski suit in New Orleans.
No, I hear it now. I see why. I mean, can you imagine if I was like, so I was thrifting and I found this ski suit?
In Hawaii,
Yeah.
that would be hilarious.
Oh, it happens. They sell full on parkas for us in winter, like at big box stores. They sell parkas.
I bet it gets windy up there, especially if you're in a beach town. I bet it can get
No,
cold.
no,
No?
no, no,
Never?
no. Not on my
Didn't.
island. No.
Yeah. Wasn't there some crazy weather phenomenon where it snowed out there?
Yeah, that happens like once every 12 years.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
It's not worth owning a parka. It's just not. I promise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Well, this has been fun.
It was.
I'm not
I
sure where
know
we landed today.
we landed with backwards budgeting. What's fun is like what's fun about this episode is that we reached a solution so quickly as opposed to like
Mm.
some of our other episodes, like the AI episode, we kind of had to like work around each other to
Mhm.
figure out what
Mhm.
the solution was and what the moral
Mhm.
was. Whereas this one, I think the answer is just backwards budgeting, which is instead of just like doing it forward and planning for the month, you have to let your expectations be set from the month before.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I guess this month like has been kind of a free for all for me, and I feel like I've just been like going way far from my what's a comfort for me and what I get from talking from you is that I've not gone outside of my needs. I've stayed within my needs. I just happen to be spending a lot right now, which is
Right.
different for me.
Your needs are more than what you expected them to be, price
Exactly.
wise.
And what I can do is use this month to navigate next month, which
Mhm.
will help me navigate the next month, which will help me navigate the next month until I get to December 31st. And maybe, next January will be another big spend month, but
Yeah.
I won't
I
worry about that month.
Yeah, I think you had a good point. Like for me, is that it was a good point for me when you said that like you need to make sure that you're investing in the right things and like
Hmm.
not spending money frivolously. So you're not just going and buying the $40 tent. You're going and buying the $300 tent. Um, like because I find myself gravitating towards I can spend $1 on this thing and I'm good to go,
Hmm.
because it doesn't feel so scary. But then I buy things that are $20 instead, and it lasts me much, 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 much longer. And that always feels so much better when I can say, I found this thing 8 years ago and I still use it all the time. Um, so, like, that's an important thing for me to remember is that I don't always need to choose the cheap option. I need to choose the option that's going to work the best for me and the longest, ideally.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that thinking long term instead of short term
Mm-hmm.
is always more beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think my short term thinking is freaking out because there was a lot of spending and I thought I was doing such a good job. Again, a lot of this is coming from I thought I was doing such a good job, man. And I was not. I did not. I did not. Um, but long term, this is good. This is
Mm-hmm.
just good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll all work
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, man.
It'll feel
Thank
better.
you.
It'll feel
Yeah.
better. Also, when everything starts arriving, like if you had to order stuff, then you're going to feel really happy about it. Because then it's going to be presents.
Yeah, maybe that can be a part of the fun thing too. It's just presents
Yeah,
that'll last you
it's
a really long
presents.
time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'll hopefully make you more money.
Yep.
Hmm.
Great. And then you get to buy more presents later.
Hmm.
I always feel
Tell me
better
what
about
you're working
presents.
on this week.
I didn't have any ideas this week.
No.
Like I said, I'm kind of at a low. I have done so much cleaning on my house this week. It's been amazing. So I didn't have any ideas. I'll think of something, I'm sure, but I don't have any
I mean,
ideas right now.
yeah, I kind of want to, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I kind of like want to write out like a backwards budgeting list of how it works, like what you made
Please
last
do.
time.
Please
Yeah,
do.
that would be great.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
it. I'd love to use it, honestly. That'd be so nice.
Yeah, man. I'll like call you and get advice for it too.
Okay,
But yeah, I
great.
feel like that would be like
We'll have a collab project this
we'll have
week.
a collab.
I like that. Let's do that this week.
Yeah,
All
yeah. Well, thank you
right.
for your calming voice and your whispery tones in this very stressful time.
No problem. Thanks for talking to me, providing some
Yeah.
exhilarating conversation. And
And
thank
to
you to
our
our lovely
audience, man,
listeners. Yes.
yeah, if you to our audience, if you guys got any budgeting tips, let us know.
We could clearly use them. Just saying.
Anything helps.
For real. Thank you everybody for tuning in this week, listening. Hope you enjoyed the kind of chiller vibes. We'll be back at it again next week for super duper fun. If you want to check out our Etsy shop, you can by going to Etsy and typing in PEACCHY Podcast Shop. That's PEACCHY Podcast Shop. I've been Rapid Peach.
And I've been made by Kirsty.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye,
Goodbye.
guys.